What is up, beautiful people? Creative Arts here, and this is part 2 of my graffiti tutorial. A quick reflection upon last week's video. A lot of you were wondering how I got the sharp edges on my graffiti, and that is just by using my tablet. There is no way to get the sharp edges without using a tablet if you want it to truly simulate the pressure. The only way to do that is with the tablet, and once again I used a Wacom Bamboo pen and touch. Now there's nothing wrong with using a mouse. That's how I started out, and it was a great way to learn. And then once I felt like my skills were good enough, I bought the tablet. So that's all a personal decision. So let's move on to part 2. Today I'll be showing you how to get the text into Cinema 4D and how to make it look all pretty, as you'd say. So here we have the flu graffiti. So just for demonstration, I'm gonna pen tool the L just to give you guys a quick idea of how to get the text into Cinema 4D, because a lot of people ask me that. And if you already know this, just stick around or skip to the next part of the video. So pen tooling, okay, pen tool done. So you go File, Export, Pass to Illustrator, Work Path, save it where you want it to save, and we'll save this as L. Alright, so LAI, okay. So there it is. So now we'll go to my Lightroom. Now a quick note, I feel like the key to any good graffiti is a good Lightroom and materials. Now my Lightroom is available for download in my 3,000 subscribers GFX pack, which I will link below for you guys. And it has just these basic materials right here. It doesn't have these ones up here. Those are my newer ones that I sort of changed up a bit, and I don't really want to release those yet. So moving on. So after you save the work path to the desktop, you're going to go to File, Merge, and you're going to find your file. So there's our L, opening it up, and we'll just bring it on over. Alright, so pretty much that's how you get the text into Cinema 4D. So now let's move on to the graffiti. So I'm going to go to where I saved my flu graffiti for the tutorial, and I'll just merge all those paths at once. Alright, so there's our flu. We're going to shrink it up a bit just so we could actually see it. And now, as you could see, some people like doing this later. I just like doing it now. I arrange the text sort of at the angles I want it to be, so that way I don't have to deal with it later. So I like that. Alright, there we go. So now that that's done with, alright, perfect. Alright, so now that that's done with, we're going to start making this three-dimensional. So you go to this little box icon with the sort of lines around it, and you'll click Extrude NURBS. Now, you'll need 1 extrude NURBS for each path. So we have 4 paths, so we'll just need 4 extrude NURBS. So you drag each path to an extrude NURBS, and then I just minimize so it's a lot more organized. So here on the object, I set the movement the third movement to 200 centimeters. And what that is, that's the depth. So we got that. Now I add a fillet cap and I set it the steps to 1 and the radius to 1. And I do that for both of them. Okay, so now I'm going to make a copy of this. So you go to edit of all the layers. So you select all and you click edit, copy, edit, paste. And now I set the caps, the fillet caps, I just changed those to 2 and 2. And this is when I use my black material. So this is going to sort of serve as the second part, the sort of backing to the graffiti, you could say. And I just put it just as close behind to the first layer so that you just start seeing the gray. Okay, so we got that, and now we're going to start arranging the text. So I always like to have my first letter in front of everything. So we'll take the L and we'll move it just behind so you could see a little bit of black there. And then I like where the E is, so we'll just move up the W. Alright, so that's just about it. I mean, for a lot of people say it's hard to get their text to look good. I mean, you could mess around with the rotations, but if you have enough flow from the get-go, you don't really need to mess around with it that much because it should all flow already before bringing it into Cinema 4D. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose a color for this. And what I've noticed is red does not look as good as other colors. It does look good, but it just doesn't look as nice. Probably my favorite colors to work with in terms of graffiti are green and the lime green and the lighter blue. So let's use our blue here. Alright, so we'll just bring the blue onto every material there. Alright, and we'll just render it. So if it doesn't look good first try, just keep practicing and rendering out the text until you find it or get it to be the way you want it to be. So once this is done rendering, I will show you what I do after I finish the render. I'll show you how I kind of make the graffiti look a little bit better. So we'll just wait for this to render out. Okay, that's it. So there's the graffiti, and we'll open it with Photoshop. So what I like to do is I like to get rid of the sort of gaps right there that sort of divide up the text. So all I do is I take a black brush, it doesn't really matter the opacity. I make a new layer and I put the layer behind the text, as you can see. And I just fill up those things with a black brush and then merge the layers. And there you have it, the flu graffiti. So in terms of what I like doing to the graffitis, I will show you this real quick. I will add a gradient overlay, set it to 50%, just a white to black one, and set it to overlay. And then I'll drag this down a bit. and then that's how I like the text to look. And as you can see, that's just a really cool looking graffiti. So I think that's it for this tutorial. In next week's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make a desktop background with the graffiti that we just made. And if there's anything else you want to know about, just write it in the comments below, because I feel like that's all there is to graffiti, so maybe I'm just missing something. So also, I would like to thank you guys for 4,000 subscribers. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I might just not do anything and wait for 5,000 subscribers for a competition. I might just make a setup video for 4,000 subscribers. So I'll see about that. But other than that, follow my Twitter, check out my Behance, and that's it. This has been Creative Arts, and see you next week for tutorial part 3. Peace, guys.